China's financial development should pay attention to Germany's experience. One, in my opinion, compared to similar works, The Mystery of Finance, a comparative study of the German financial system. One of the prominent features of research is its consistent problem-oriented approach. These problems are not conceptualized doctrines, but institutional issues that have repeatedly emerged in China's financial reform and development process for over 40 or even 70 years, but have not yet been resolved. Undoubtedly, these issues are the difficulties, in points, and obstacles that China's financial development will face in the future. They are the difficulties that we need to overcome through further deepening reforms. The problem-oriented approach serves as the main theme in the entire book, with 1 chant and 3 sighs. In the highly informative preface, these questions are first collected under the title of German Financial Impression. The exhibition and preliminary sorting have played a role in guiding the entire book. In the following chapter the theme reappears as a striking German financial puzzle. This emerging perspective is mainly based on Germany itself. It summarizes the main characteristics of German financial development since the end of World War I and the practice and theoretical overview of the Western mainstream developed economies led by the United States and Britain. Comparative analysis was conducted. After laying the groundwork, the following 9 chapters of the book vividly reproduce the problem-oriented themes, including the relationship between finance and the real economy, low leverage, the iron law of monetary policy to maintain price stability, the virtuous cycle between finance and the real estate market, the pro-customer characteristics of banks' umbrella collection in rainy days, financing arrangements for small and medium-sized enterprises, and the organic complementarity of policy and commercial factors. In financial operation, the unique role of credit unions and the mystery of relatively lagging stock market development have comprehensively presented us with a picture of Germany's financial system, monetary and financial policies, and even macroeconomic policies. Finally, the author uses 10 enlightenments of German finance as a summary of the entire book to revisit the German financial system from the perspective of China's financial reform and extract several aspects that may provide reference for China's financial reform. This arrangement not only facilitates readers to grasp the overall picture of Germany's financial system from simple to profound, but also highlights it embodies the characteristics of the German financial system, in terms of the layout of interests of people be respected, rather than being a broad concept. The difficulty of transforming this concept lies in encountering the resistance of traditional ideology and the covert boycott of vested interest groups. Another prerequisite is the upgrade of the governance concept, that is, the upgrade of the version of making decisions for the people, which is undertaken by everyone, upgrading from limited liability to a limited and bounded management model that leads social rules and maintains their fair execution. Previously, the direct participation of the state in the operation of the economy inevitably led to self-interest, resulting in impure motives for the state. However, when the state is above economic interests and only serves as the creator and maintainer of the system, the transformation of its role creates a natural demand for the principles of fairness and justice. The controversial labor contract law, to some extent, is a manifestation of the shift in national motivation from favoring enterprises to providing universal coverage for the interests of workers. It is a transition from a focus on efficiency first to a balance between fairness. Despite its poor timing, it is still a landmark milestone, because the more a few people resist, the more they can reflect that it actually represents the interests of the majority and touches the pain points of interest groups. At present, it is the Ministry of Power that undermines the principles of fairness and justice, distorts the state's motives seriously, and causes even greater public discontent. The phenomenon of door-oriented, departmental interest-oriented, and interest group-oriented. Many authorities use the name of the state to harm the people and enrich the private sector, and practice monopoly under the guise of maintaining fairness and justice. This distorts the essence and core of the national political system, which means that the state represents the interests of the entire society and the nation, and implements its representation through various state machines. However, in reality, various state machines become representatives of the state and fulfill the interests of their own departments in the process of representation. This deviation is the source of social contradictions at this stage. The real reason for the large-scale mass incident in Wengan County, Guizhou, is that the government has repeatedly violated the interests of the masses in mineral resources development, resettlement, building demolition and other work, and in the process of handling conflicts, disputes and mass incidents. Some cadres have a rough style, simple working methods and random use of police force. Although the stock market was in a mess in the first half of the year, there were still over billion yuan in stamp duty receipts, and local state-owned asset management commissions are still preparing to queue up local state-owned enterprises. It has contributed % of the GDP to an area of 2 square kilometers, and its development and growth have captured the benchmark of Wall Street, allowing the UK to once again enjoy the wonderful taste of becoming an international financial center in a century. Almost at the same time, the big financial explosion in Japan was manifested in the Plaza Accord, with the result that the surplus of nearly $100 million was wiped out, and the yuan was licked alone in the loss of. So, the expression of the financial explosion in reality is nothing more than the booming financial derivatives market. The virtual economy has separated from the real economy into its own system and flourished, and the new game rules and institutional system will be different from the past. Capital and windfall profits will replace physical goods and growth as the theme words of the economy. The third is why the financial industry exploded. This is the general rule of the relationship between people's livelihood and well-being of the macroeconomic. When the total increase in housing prices in Germany was only percent in the average annual growth rate is only percent. This is in sharp contrast to the rapid foam of the real estate market in Britain, Spain, and the United States over the same period, which rose as high as percent, and percent. Thanks to this, Germany has maintained a virtuous cycle of real estate finance and the real economy. Avoiding real estate. Future society will be people-oriented, and meeting people's various emotional needs will become the source of new business opportunities. Neil Pinker proposed in New Thinking that the 6 senses that the right brain era should possess include a sense of design, storytelling, symphony, empathy, entertainment, and exploration of meaning. And business opportunities lie in the experience of these 6 or even more emotional needs, such as doctors using laughter, yoga, entertainment to heal patients, transforming old factories into modern office spaces with a sense of design, the opening of the Cube-era empathy of high school, university, white-collar SNS social network services on the campus network will undoubtedly bring about the reconstruction of industrial boundaries, leading to the emergence of a large number of new industries and former TOS. On the other hand, whether it's the older generation who thinks with the left brain or the new generation who thinks with the right brain, in this comprehensive integration in the era of unity, whoever can represent the interests of the greatest majority will ultimately win. Deng Xiaoping adhered to the 4 cardinal principles, turning right to carry out reform, opening up and marketization, and took the middle path of giving priority to efficiency and giving consideration to fairness, so that China got rid of the ideological struggle and rose rapidly, relying on economic development. The same applies to business opportunities. Whoever can combine left brain and right brain can free from constraints and allow various elements to fuse and collide under the catalysis of creativity and imagination, so that they are no longer just looking for business opportunities, but creating them. The left and right brain connection may open up business opportunities from 3 aspects. One is the application of new technologies in the wave of wisdom, ecological civilization, financial civilization, etc. under the impact of various right-brainization approaches. It will upgrade at a faster pace and become a carrier for generating business opportunities. Secondly, various countries may show their respective skills in seizing the commanding heights of wisdom. For example, the United States has already launched ERIC plan to study wisdom. And there are still people in China who want to build smart banks. This trend will make people pay more attention to balancing left and right, and various alternative ideas such as whether software can be downloaded and memorized in the future will bring new business opportunities and sparks. Thirdly, for most enterprises, it is difficult to achieve a left and right brain connection, so it may be the norm to be forced to upgrade the version due to being dragged by the situation. A small number of enterprises with unique thinking will unleash their creative imagination, see through changes in the situation, grasp policy trends, and quickly occupy techno. From information to trust and from trust to credit can be achieved, thereby significantly reducing the phenomenon of umbrella collection on rainy days. The system of managing banks. The interaction between German banks and enterprises has always been known for its long-term and close nature, so much so that banks are called butler banks. A German bank will accompany an industrial enterprise the entire process of decline and change from cradle to grave, from establishment to liquidation. Is on page a vivid portrayal of this relationship, against the backdrop of the transformation of large banks, the development capital of injection banking and other forms, and the increasing demand of the year. The market value of China's investment fund had exceeded trillion yuan, which was only trillion yuan a year ago. That is to say, the development in 1 year is twice that of last year's total. Statistics also show that in the number of investors opening accounts in the Shanghai and Shenzhen stock markets reached 1,000, with an average of over 10,000 accounts per trading day. In the context of global liquidity surplus, the opportunity for concentrated release has finally emerged, with the accumulation of years of sustained high-speed growth energy in the national economy, enhanced profitability of enterprises, appreciation energy of RMB, and enhanced international competitiveness. Although facts have proved that the soaring stock index and the instantaneous expansion of market value are unsustainable, both the number and scale of institutional investors such as investment fund, QFII, QDII, and hundreds of millions of individual investors, as well as the equivalent of financial assets accounting for half of the stock market, and the degree of securitization of state-owned assets indicate that China's economy is undergoing sustainable and irreversible structural changes, and the capital market is becoming the country one of the most important wealth investment and management platforms for enterprises and the people, shifting from excessive reliance on bank savings to the capital market. China is entering an exciting great era from the commodity era, the era of capital finance. Satisfy their curiosity about mysteries. However, the success of commercial operation cannot hide the defect of its logical derivation. That is, it regards finance as the core of national strategy, and regards national strategy and enterprise strategy as the main contradiction of financial problems. It believes that this is the bullnose that governs financial and capital movements. The weight of conspiracy is gradually increased under this logical derivation. Conspiracy is characterized by suddenness, uncertainty, and unknowability. As a result, it is either a hammer or an anvil. Therefore, as long as the financial air supremacy is mastered, you can play with other governments and banks at will and plunder their wealth, thus integrating finance and conspiracy. Elevating to an unparalleled and supreme position gives the impression that countries are subject to others without engaging in finance. While engaging in finance is like plotting, this Investment in recent years has been comparable to that of the United States, and the influx of various hot money has been countless, resulting in a large-scale surplus in China's International Balance of Payments capital account. Meanwhile, after joining the WTO, China's foreign trade has grown rapidly, and its trade surplus in recent years has also been very large. From this perspective, a large amount of international capital has entered China, leading to imported inflation. On the other hand, the prices of international raw materials including crude oil, iron ore, etc. have skyrocketed, while China's large import of raw materials has directly introduced inflation from the import of raw materials. From the above, it can be seen that excessive currency has led to abnormal changes in asset prices and capital markets. But the current choice timing of the outbreak is related to many factors, and specific fields have specific